We're all looking at the same thing. Thank you for joining us for another perspective from the Sag Nasty If Anybody Asks Me podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment. For more videos, please subscribe to the channel.
When I meet other people from Michigan, they go, "Oh, you from Saginaw?" They go, "Ooh, Sag Nasty." I'm like, "All right, man, you know about it, but
I don't know what it really means to be Saginaw.
right? It's like it's a beautiful place.
From the mud, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we did good growing up. You know what I mean? It's
You
like, and then like
articulated it so well, man. Like that's exactly how I feel about, and I could never really say it how you said it, is that going back to that neighborhood even, because at first it's like Saginaw, but now I realize like there's something special about our neighborhood, and it goes back to the
yeah,
diversity first of all, and then that brotherhood. Yeah, it was like a gang, but we didn't have any of the
yeah,
like violence or the like selling drugs and
nah,
stuff like that. It was like
no,
sports and just family, and like there was protection there, and like the police were always in there, especially in Pheasant Run, but it was different back then where they didn't really run up on us like that. Like they would talk, but they
nah.
didn't really run up on us like that, which was good. So
But they had to though. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they had to. They chased us too many times and couldn't catch us. But at the same time, like it finally kind of gained their respect. And then I think
yeah.
like by the time you boys start kind of interacting with us more,
Hmm.
they wasn't really on our ass so much as much around that time. And the reason
they
why is because like
they didn't
all the
really,
older
yeah,
dudes that they used to hound was kind of gone. You know what I mean? Like all them
yeah.
dudes either graduated, moved, or working somewhere. Like they really, those are the dudes they used to mess with. But like
I
with
think I
us,
only
they was
saw
like,
one
all right,
arrest. Like one arrest, we
yeah,
were hooping. Someone had like a warrant or something like that. Besides
right,
that, they would roll
something
up
stupid.
there because we were loud at night or something like that. But
Right.
overall, it wasn't too bad. Yeah,
No.
yeah,
And that's what
yeah.
I said. Like it took time, but it's like that us the way we kind of conducted ourselves is what kind of I think helped improve that relationship with us in the township PD. Be honest with
Yeah,
you, you
yeah,
know, because it's like
yeah.
we had interactions with them at Olson Park, whether it be a White
Yeah.
Pine Gym, whether it be a Heritage,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like at some point in time, we had interactions with them to where they realized, like, man, these kids is pretty cool. And then, like
Hmm.
you said, by this time, we now starting to show up in the newspapers and stuff. You know what I mean? Like we the
Hmm.
ones popping up on the sports, especially you, man. Y'all boys
Hmm.
came in fresh. You're killing that shit. You know
Freshman
what I
year,
mean?
yeah.
Like
Like,
y'all
who
was
are these
constantly on the
guys?
news.
They
So
weren't ready.
right,
Yeah.
we knew. Right. But that's what I'm saying. It's like that's where it's like that it kind of showed, you know what I mean? Because it's like they start realizing like, man, these kids come from good parents, they good hardworking kids, you know what I mean? It's like I said, not all y'all was smart, all y'all
I
pretty
gotta
much
give props
played
to the community
sports. Like,
outside of our community too, because like overall, I didn't experience too much racism from the parents, at least that I could see at that age. But sometimes I
nah.
look back, it's like okay, a little bit, but overall, the community embraced me more than
Oh yeah,
is
man.
normal. You know, and like the Canada
Right,
experience, like the fact that we could even go to
right,
Canada. You know,
right. That was tough. I mean, that, like you said, that's big, man. That's huge.
that's
You know what I mean? Especially
big.
because, like you said, look at the time frame. You know what I mean? It's like
Hmm.
you talking 80s, 90s. You know what I mean? It's
Crack
like that.
epidemic.
Yeah,
You know.
right. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
things was different. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Remember, our gang problem was real bad, right? Like the
Hmm.
early to mid 90s. It
Very
was bad.
dangerous
You know what I mean? It's
city.
like,
That was a number one,
yeah,
most, yeah, number one in the
yeah.
mid
It
'80s.
was top
Yeah,
of number one, easy.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
like, and that's what I said. Like to see us kind of come out of all of that, make it through all that kind of bogusness stuff, but yet still turn out good product. You know, later, 5, 10, 15 years down the line and more. You know what I mean? It's like
Hmm.
that to me, like I said, is true success. You know, it's like
Hmm.
it doesn't have a
Hmm.
monetary value on it. It doesn't have
No.
anything. And like you said, I do like man, I love Saginaw probably more than anybody could ever imagine. You know what I mean? It's like because that place taught me so much about just life in general, the different experiences, and whether it was you went through the experience or somebody else, or because like you said, we had such a kind of close knit group of friends that where you was kind of able to look at certain situations going, hey man, like, hey, let's all stay away from that. You know what I mean? It's like because you see where that's gonna go. You see how that could turn out. Stay away from that. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
man, I didn't want to end up being one of those stories on the news. Oh, athlete kid, he has so much potential, got gunned down in the street, beefing over some girl or some bull. You know what I mean? Like,
Always a girl, right?
nah, nah. You know what I mean? It's like it's like if anything, I looked at it as like just like when we went to Canada. Everywhere we go, you wearing Saginaw across your chest, and you got to represent it well. Because if people was to look at the news and everything else, like I said, when I meet other people from Michigan, they go, "Oh, where you from?" Saginaw. They go, "Ooh, Sagnasty." And I'm like, "All right, man, you know
You
about it,
don't know.
but
Yeah, you don't
hey,
know what it
that's
really
it,
means to be Sag Nasty.
right.
It's
It's
not
like
negative. It's
it's a
that
beautiful place.
from the
It's just
mud.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look, you got to watch your step. You know what I mean? Like, you definitely watch your step and watch your mouth around that bitch. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, man, like, this is my home, man. Like, that's where I came from. That's the water I came out of. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we got our issues, just like everybody else. I've been all over the world. I can tell you right now, I still will take it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah. Right.
like one of the biggest takes from that is, like I said, it's the people too,
The
from
people,
everywhere,
you got to give them
east side,
credit.
south side, north side,
Yeah.
everywhere. Like no matter where you was at around there, where you even the surrounding little counties and stuff, man.
Yep.
Like
You
it
got to give
all
them
to me
credit.
was like a there's a whole ecosystem as to kind of who we were and what we do. You know what I mean? It's like
Flint,
because
even. Yeah.
yeah, Flint, shit, even
Hmm.
Detroit, you know, because
Yeah.
like I came across them kids growing up, you know, and it's like,
Hmm.
and you still looked at it as like we I didn't realize it how small our town was until I got to the Marine Corps and I started, you know, dealing with dudes from New York and you know
Small.
some of these big ass places, these boys from LA and stuff like that, you know, and
Yep.
you talking to them, you know, passing stories about just you know the way we grew up and stuff. And I can tell you
Yeah.
right now, a lot of them used to be stopped in their tracks, like, man, you lying. I'm like, nah, man, like that really happened. Nah, man, you everybody say that because you ain't really checked, right? Well, lo and behold, as we out there stationed in Hawaii, two Saginaw boys moved out to Hawaii. Matt Mayer and Tony Lytle, right?
Oh, wow.
Right. So I see these boys. Oh man. So now they hanging out with me and my Marine buddies. Of course, my Marine buddies slide up on them. Hey man, this dude be telling us all about y'all town like it's and this, right? And what made it even better, you know Tony and Matt.
Hmm.
Tony Lytle is pretty much blonde hair, blue eyed white, like white dude. Matt man, brown hair, white. You know what I mean? It's like, but they telling them the same exact stories that I'm telling them
Yep.
without me like tipping them off or saying I'm sitting there quiet. And these dudes they'll be talking about certain stuff. Oh, hey, like they'll remember this one time, and I'm like, and they'll tell the story, and them dudes looking at me like, man, you wasn't lying. I'm like, nah, bro, like you heard it from a black guy, you heard it from white kids. We were you heard how we talked about that story, how we was there, what we saw, how everybody else was acting around, and they was just like, wow. And I'm like, yeah, man. I was like, but that's what makes us special because we dangerous, but we don't look like it. You know what I mean? It's
No,
like,
right.
but we can move in dangerous environments at the same time too, and move through fluidly. You know, and it's like, and that's where
Yes.
like I was like, man, Saginaw kind of prepared me for some of this because, like you said, I've been in Korea late night. There's some sketch places if you ain't watching yourself. You know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
definitely. You know, and it's like, but that's one of the
Yeah.
things. It's like when I got around overseas in different places. I I used a lot of the things I learned in Saginaw to navigate in those areas.
Hmm.
It was real simple for me. You know what I mean? It's like just
Hmm.
kind of watch your surroundings, be polite to people. You know, I'm not
It
from
never
around there.
failed. It never
You know
failed.
what
It
I mean?
was so
Like
interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna go over to the hood somewhere and just be talking shit. Oh, I used to live, man, fucked up. But man, come on, they finna
Yeah.
air that bitch out and hold me up. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like, yeah, do I know gangbangers and stuff? Of course I do. You know what I mean? It's like I know that I'm not gonna go over to a neighborhood wearing a color that I know is a rival gang with color. You know what I mean? It's like I'm aware of those things, and like I said, it's the same overseas, and that's
Hmm.
where I started. Like I said, as I got overseas from place to place to place, thinking, oh man, we're traveling. It's so much better than back home. I'm
The
like,
world is a
man, it's
hood.
a lot.
Yeah.
It's a hood. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
no matter where you go, it's the same. I've been to Dubai, same thing. Yeah, it's nice, glitz and glamour here, some palaces here and there. You go about a few blocks that way, you see what I'm saying? It's just like, and it's right back in the same thing. Man, when we used
Right
to get
back.
around there, people used to ask me my Marines because I'd be out there by myself sometimes, not
Yeah.
supposed to be. Man,
Yeah.
how was you? And I'm like, bro, it's like being back at home, man. You hit the cabbie up, talked to him, gave him some dap, threw him a couple bucks. He drove me around, kept me safe. You see what I'm saying? It's
You
like
gotta speak
it
the
was kind of
language.
like
Yeah.
you got to speak the language. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
and know your environment. You know, and it's like and
Hmm.
that's why I said like Saginaw to me it taught us that from day one, from the time we
From
were
day
young kids.
one.
You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.